right, here we go. Episode 16 of our Hero Quest painting series. We're going to paint the doors. Pretty simple and easy. If you need some ideas, if not, then you don't have to watch it. I mean, please watch it. I'd love if you watched it. But pretty easy, real simple. As always, first I want to thank our YouTube members for everything they do and contribute to the channel. It helps me keep going. So thank you so much. You guys are awesome. If this is your first time at the channel, or if you're a returning viewer and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, what are you doing? Hit it. But without further ado, let's go. Alright, as always, we're going to scrape off all those nasty mold lines on this hard plastic. There's a couple of them, there's not many, but, you know, scrape them off. Once you're satisfied with all your scraping, it's going to take you a while because there's 40 of these things. Hit it with some black primer. I'm using an airbrush because I can spray a ton of stuff real quick from the confines of the Nerd Night studio and not have to go outside and deal with wind and the elements. But you can use spray paint, whatever you want to do. After you've covered them all in black, we're going to take some white primer and we are going to start highlighting up our door. And by doing this, because we're going to be using contrast paints for a vast majority of this tiny little door gateway, it's easy just to have those highlights stick through, and you're going to see why here in a minute. Alright, since you're satisfied with your highlighting, your zenithal highlighting to begin with, we're going to take some Gryph-Charger Grey, which is a contrast paint. Now, if you're doing furniture and stuff like this, these contrast paints are your absolute best friend. You're going to slap that all over your door, and don't worry about getting on the vines because we're going to hit those up here in a second. Once you're dry or almost dry, or if you just say, I just want to get this done as quickly as possible, hit it up with some Militarium Green on those vines, and you should probably see them a little bit better after putting on that Gryph-Charger Grey. For the Legends of the Hidden Temple top part, for you people who know what I'm talking about, it's one of my favorite shows growing up with Olak. I think that was the guy's name. Hit that with some Warplock Bronze on that. Once dry, hit it up with some Agrax Earthshade. We're going to take a little bit of Dawnstone. We're going to put this as a dry brush on our stone areas. Now, if you get a little bit onto the vines, that's no problem because we're going to highlight that up here in a second. And for a final highlight on our stones, we're going to take some Ulthuan Grey as another dry brush. And again, try to avoid the bronze portion up top and only hit the stone areas. And again, if you get some on the vines, not a big deal because we're going to highlight those here in a second. Our first highlight, we're going to take some of that Straken Green, that nice viney green, and we're going to start picking out a lot of the vines. You don't have to do all of the vines, just certain portions that you feel would stick out and make it look like some parts are darker than others, some parts are going to be lighter than others. You choose. There's no right or wrong reason here. And for our final highlight of green, we're going to take some of that Skarsnik Green and pick out vines here and there. There's no right or wrong way to do this. I'm doing a little bit less because you have so many doors to do. You're trying to save time and push through this. And as your final highlight on this door miniature, we're going to take some Sigmarite and just dry brush it on. If you don't have this specific dry brush color, you can take whatever gold you have and just brush it on there real quick. And that's it. You're done. It probably took you a long time to do all the doors, but that method that we just used is probably the most efficient with using the contrast paints, and that's why I like using them on furniture and bigger surface areas to save time. Hey, thank you for watching, and thank you for leaving a comment. If you left a comment, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We got so much stuff to do, and I'm thinking about doing the expansions for this, so stay tuned. All right, paint on.